Ah, yes, the paperclip. Martinsville, Virginia. Three drivers are still looking for their ticket to be punched in the round of 4. Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin. And Kurt Busch. Kevin Harvick won one race here back in 2012, but he only has to run up front, have a good race, and be solid. No fuck-ups today. That's the only key he has to do to make it into the Final Four. As the green flag waves, Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski lead them on 500 laps around the paperclip.
The green flag, we're racing at Martinsville. The 11 dives down to the curbing.
Yeah, Denny trying to get to that low line. Harvick jumps to the outside. See if he can make some ground up on the high side.
As we enter lap number 4, Martin Truex Jr., the number 19 auto owner's Toyota Camry, takes the lead, as it means Kevin Harvick will be out by 3 points currently where he is running. It's still really early, so no one really cares.
With his crew chief Rodney Childers this morning, Dave, and he kind of laughed at everyone saying, hey, we're advanced to Phoenix. He said, you know what? As great as our regular season was and the playoffs have been for us, we're not automatically advanced. We have to gain stage points today, and you see that on the left-hand side of your screen. Obviously, as soon as the 19 took the lead, Harvick immediately jumped down to the bottom of the leaderboard. Right now, he's just +5 above the cut line, and yes, he's accurate. They do need stage points today as we watch Chase Elliott and the 2-car Brad Keselowski battle for 4th, guys.
Within the first 40 laps, the deal was simple. Everybody knew that Harvick still had a legitimate shot of being kicked out of the Final Four and not having a chance for championship at Phoenix. But he still had a really good long race to go. People knew that he had a long race to go, and his car was doing pretty good. He was still running up top 10, and as long as 2 cars losing positions, Harvick was gaining positions. He still had enough time and enough effort to win or advance in this race. On lap number 62 of the race, the competition caution flies for the first time, and the first caution all day. It's supposed to give, because there's no practice in qualifying then, it gives the drivers who are struggling with the race car a chance to upgrade it, help them early, and everything else. As the pit stops wind down, Kevin Harvick will gain 2 positions during the pit stop. On lap 105 of the race, Garrett Smithley brings out the second caution. Kevin Harvick wasn't really necessarily struggling by this point, but he kind of needed a caution to help him out. With 17 laps to go in stage number 1, Denny Hamlin takes the lead, which gives Kevin Harvick a 10-point cushion over Chase Elliott. On the very same lap, Quinn Half ends up dumping Joey Gase, as by far one of the funniest cautions to ever happen in NASCAR history, but that's besides the point. And Denny Hamlin ends up winning stage number 1. Kevin Harvick will finish P14 during stage 1, not really helping his points case too much as it is, but we still got a long way to go in this race. As the stage ends, pit road opens, obviously. A lot of cars take it, but Kevin Harvick's hunting the ball here. He's outside the top 10, in the top 15, so he has to work with anything he can. He's got to build it back up, back in the top 5. As the race restarts in stage number 2, Kevin Harvick is well outside of making it to the Final Four. This man has been pushed back from the top 15 all the way to 26th position. That's right, 26th position at Martinsville. He has to work his way up, and this is not even one of his best tracks. This is a real hit to him early on in this race. On lap 146, Kevin Harvick barely avoids disaster, but a caution comes out for Chris Buescher in the 17 car after him and Daniel Suarez get tangled up exiting turn 3 and 4. This brings up the caution, which means there's a better chance and more strategy can be played out here for Kevin Harvick and the 4 team.
It's not been a great day for the 4-car, Marty.
Yeah, I wanted to finish this story as let you guys talk about what happened with the caution there. Just take a listen on the struggles that Kevin Harvick has had inside that 4-car. This conversation happened on the last run.
Absolutely. Killed it through the center of the corner. Won't take off, won't turn, no grip on exit. Too tight through the whole center of the corner, and then it's got the slide sideways at the 5/8 3/4 mark.
a restart comes back out, and Kevin Harvick still is not happy with his car. He's still outside in 27th position, outside the top 20. That's a big yikes for the 9-win season. It's becoming more and more obvious that the Ford team has stuck themselves into a hole that Harvick seems like he can't get out. You still have 400 laps around this track. Any more mess-ups will lead to more disaster. With 5 laps to go, on stage, they're digging deeper and deeper and deeper in this hole that they have made. 19 points out of the final 4. That's a lot. And Kevin Harvick at this moment, closing in on the end of stage 2, is currently 31st position, 1 lap down. He has to get his shit together for the last stage. With 200 and something laps down, Chase Elliott's on win stage 2. This will help him greatly. Kevin Harvick has 1 stage. Make this point deficit up. On lap 320 after stage number 2, Mark Truex Jr., the number 19 Toyota, is catching up to Chase Elliott, the number 9. Now, if Truex takes the lead, this will put Denny Hamlin out and put Kevin Harvick back in to a chance at the Final Four. The Ford team still has a long way to go during this race, so anything can still happen. Now, the next clip I'm about to show you is probably some of the best words I've ever heard Rick Allen say in his life. This is the truest statement and the biggest takeaway from this race.
The possibility exists he could go 2 laps down. I would liken this to, and I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but your Patriots, when they were undefeated going into the Super Bowl, everybody's like, well, they're undefeated. They've got this great season. They're going to be Super Bowl champions. Well, a 9-time winner this year, Kevin Harvick, might not make the championship 4. It's like the number 1 ranked team in the world doesn't make it to the championship race.
As laps wind down, we eventually have another caution. This caution has a lot of guys going down pit road. But one key factor happens during this caution and this pit road cycle. And this might actually help Kevin Harvick be able to come back and still have a chance to fight for a championship next week.
Perhaps Chase Elliott has ever led in a race, but it might all be negated because they're getting a penalty. Over the wall too soon by the Jackman.
Yeah, so we're going to take another look at it. This is those corners. It's very hard for them to see. You kind of try to time it right. So look at the Jackman. He's going to leave the pit stall. You're allowed to be over 1 box before. So you look at Chase. He's not 1 box. So he tries to clear it by going back to pit wall, touching it, then running around the car. I'll be honest, I've never heard of the ability. I mean, you see the Jackman. He's a stall away. The Jackman's already in the pit box. So I've never heard that you can go back and reset it against pit wall. I mean, the penalty is the penalty. Obviously, the Jackman had a quick reaction that, well, if I go back, maybe they won't call it. He obviously knew he was early. I don't think that's an option. NASCAR will let us know, but they're calling the penalty on the 9 being too early, so.
Could this be it? Could this actually help out the 4? I mean, it's clear as day the Jackman was into the box way too early. But, typical NASCAR fashion, Chase Elliott does not get a penalty, and he will be restarting the same position he came out. No penalty advised, nobody kicked out. This single move right here could have won Kevin Harvick the championship, but no. Chase Elliott had another chance, another breath of life here in Martinsville, another chance to make his way into the Final Four. But as Joey Logano takes the lead, there is still a little slimmer of hope. Kevin Harvick does have a chance to keep on keeping on. He's currently 4th in points if Joey Logano stays as leader, or anybody else a non-playoff driver. But he needs to watch out for the 19 and the 9. They're coming fast, and they've had fast cars all day. Who knows? With 129 laps in the race, Kevin Harvick is currently battling Bubba Wallace for the free pass position in 23rd position. Him and Wallace have been roughing it up lately, and it doesn't look that good because Kevin Harvick can damage his car and go back down pit road. But anything he can do to get these points, he needs to get up there, get another top 10, top whatever, if he wants to battle and have a chance to win have a chance at championship the very next week. With 123 laps to go, Kevin Harvick only needs one more caution because he gets Bubba Wallace for the free pass position. If the caution was come out, Kevin Harvick would be perfect right now. He only has to fix up his car a little bit, have more adjustments, and he could be up there battling for a top 10 again. Once again, if he gets top 10,
he's most likely making it into the Final Four.
With 102 laps to go, Kevin Harvick gets a miracle of a lifetime. The blessing that he's been needing for the last 400 laps of this race. Kevin Harvick receives caution from James Davison. This puts Kevin Harvick back in the fight and has a chance to win this race or even have a top 10. He just needs to get points, keep it steady, and he can get a chance to win, have a chance at a championship next week. They restart with 92 laps to go, and Martin Truex Jr. takes the lead. With Truex in the lead, this does put Kevin Harvick 6 points above the cutoff line for the final 4 men of the championship. With 79 laps to go, Kevin Harvick just got passed by Brad Keselowski. That means Brad Keselowski is pulling away. The more positions Brad Keselowski gains, is the less points that Kevin Harvick gets. Kevin Harvick's only 2 points to the good right now. Anything can happen, but we still have a long time before this race ends. Another caution flies, this time with 60 laps to go around the paperclip. William Byron bags it into the wall in 3 and 4. His race is completely done. Kevin Harvick, however, has to make sure that 9 car doesn't win. That 9 car is on the boots of the number 19. Who knows? We have one more pit stop to make. We race 60 laps, long time before it ends. With 50 laps to go, Truex takes the lead away from Corey LaJoie. This means Kevin Harvick's still in. Kevin Harvick is begging for Martin Truex Jr. to win this race. Yes, Kevin Harvick will love a win, but he needs this more than anything. With 44 laps to go in the race, Chase Elliott is trying to take the lead away from Martin Truex Jr. And in the corner, he clears the 19. Sets sail. Kevin Harvick's still in, however, but if he loses more spots than gains, he will be out. And more laps catch Chase Elliott leads, he will still be out. With less than 30 laps to go, Brad Keselowski makes his move on Kyle Busch, and he'll get that 1 point. He will eventually be over Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick is doing anything he can to battle and get back into the fight of the championship. He still has not enough time. It's Martinsville. Anything can happen.
Only 4 points to the good right now. I'm Denny Hamlin. I fight Kevin Harvick.
America post-race show. We driver interviews there. And obviously you'll have disappointment after what's happening today, but elation if the 9 can.
We don't show the leader, Chase Elliott, because he's driven out to almost the second lead.
Kevin Harvick right now on the outside looking in.
7 laps to go. My gosh. Great drive by Chase Elliott. The pressure.
Win his way into the championship 4. Elliott wins at Martinsville. Can Harvick do it?
The definition of desperate. Feeling, showing, or involving a hopeless sense that a situation is so bad that it's impossible to deal with.
In almost every sport, we see desperation set in with tough times ahead. It's happened to the best of the best. Tom Brady, MJ,
and even Kobe. In almost every sport, we see desperation set in.
The final turn. He needs the position.
Oh, Harvick spins the 18.
Turns into the 18. He turns as well. The 18 crosses the start-finish line, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs.
And just like that, the most dominant season we've seen in years. The best, the biggest winner, and one of the best drivers there was all year, Kevin Harvick. 9 fucking victories on the season. 9. The best driver, most laps led, most consistent, most stage wins, most anything. This regular season champion lose the championship in one little move at Martinsville. That just shows to show you anything can happen. Anything can happen in sports. Anything, no matter how dominant you are, doesn't mean anything. 9 wins got wasted in one move at Martinsville. It was only 8 points. 8 little points.
What would you do to make it into the championship 4?
I tried to run into the door of the 18 as a latch ditch effort there and spun him out. So sorry to put him in the middle of trying to gain a point. But look, these championships aren't like winning like Petty and Earnhardt used to win them. You have to put them together 3 weeks at a time And, you know, it comes down to one race, and it came down to one race for us tonight and came up short.
So, yeah, that just fucking happened. Kevin Harvick, 9 fucking wins in the season, misses the championship 4 and doesn't have a chance to compete at Phoenix. Now, Kevin Harvick did go on to finish about 9th place at Phoenix, so we don't really know how his car would have handled if he did make the Final Four. But Chase Elliott went on to win the NASCAR Cup Series championship that year. But if you're anything to ask me, I think Kevin Harvick will deserve this championship. It's just the very next year we saw Kyle Larson. 10 freaking wins, the most laps led by anybody, and then somehow he still won it. Managed to win it and not get screwed over our system. Even my boy Trix had the better car that day. But in the end, it wasn't meant to be for Kevin Harvick. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you will, please leave a like, subscribe for more. And until next time, have a good one.